Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ethereal Healing Arts. Please remember to like and subscribe because this is literally how I make my living. So something as simple as liking and subscribing can really help the channel. But anyway, let's get into today's topic of discussion. So yesterday, after I filmed my video, I thought about the Midas touch a lot. So the Midas touch is the idea that anything that one touches turns to gold. And that really made me think of how when we put our attention to something, that energy exchange between us and that thing, whether it's a living being or an inanimate object, that energy flow can really create something very special, and it can create a change in the thing that we're looking at. It's almost like that quantum physics conundrum that, depending on if there is a viewer or not, the item or the matter will change or not change. Basically, depending on, like, something will act in a certain way in quantum physics, and then once there's a viewer or someone watching, that thing will behave in a different way. And that's a very interesting and curious thing that happens when you study quantum physics. But anyway, I'm kind of going off track. So back to the Midas touch. Yesterday, I was talking about how when we are able to create space in our minds, then we are able to bring more awareness and attention to the things around us, and thus make change in our lives because of the magnetism and the more opportunities that come in. And in a similar thread, this morning during my meditation, I was doing a type of meditation where you count to 10, and with each breath in, you count 1. So it's like breathe in 1, breathe out 2, and then 3, breathe in, 4, breathe out. So basically a breathing exercise where you breathe in that fashion until you reach the number 10, and then continue from, like, start from 1 again, keep going to 10, 1 to 10. And the idea here is to do that as many times as possible without falling off track. So you have to constantly be in touch with your breath and constantly be in touch with the numbers as well, because sometimes I find that I go off track and my thoughts kind of take me with them, and I end up at number 30, and that's when I'm like, oh, okay, my thoughts took me with them again. Ooh. But okay, I'm talking too fast. That's why I'm coughing. But anyway, so this morning during my meditation, I realized that oftentimes I will have thoughts, and instead of putting my attention on the thoughts, I will instead push them away because I don't want to think about them. So usually during meditations, I have some anxious thoughts that pop up, and I don't like being anxious naturally. So I would try to push these thoughts away. But this morning, for the first time, I actually sat with the thoughts, and I was like, okay, I see you, I hear you, you can pass now. And I realized that sometimes anxious thoughts pop into our mind not to do anything other than to want our attention. And so once we put our attention, again, the power of our attention, once we put our attention on the thoughts and say hello, then they feel free to pass by in the mindscape like clouds passing through, and your mind becomes emptier and emptier as you allow yourself to bring a little bit of awareness and attention to the thoughts and then let them go. The alternative is having anxious thoughts pop up, wanting to get rid of them as fast as possible because they're very uncomfortable, and then they kind of just pile up, stack on top of each other in your brain, and that crown chakra really gets cloudy, and maybe you're getting migraines, you're feeling cloudy, you can't concentrate, you're so anxious, you're feeling unwell, you're feeling uneasy, and things like that. So a key part to clearing your mind in order to become magnetic and be able to bring attention to the things outside of you is to first bring attention to the things inside of you. So when thoughts come up in your mindscape, sit with them just for even a millisecond. Just say hi. Just say, hello, anxious thought. Okay, I see you. You're not going to dictate my behavior or what I do next, but I see you and I hear you. And then it'll pass by a lot faster. I genuinely think that if you try this, you will find that your mindscape becomes clearer and clearer, and you'll get closer and closer to what is called the Midas touch. Things like the Midas touch are really portrayed in such an esoteric way, in such a magical way, in an untouchable way in my experience. I always thought the Midas touch was for like the Greek gods or some enlightened masters, and that it's not attainable, but things like the Midas touch are attainable for everybody, because the Midas touch is simply bringing enough awareness, full awareness to something so that it can grow and evolve and change into something beautiful. Because just like with our thoughts, when we bring awareness to them, they can pass by more fast, more quickly. And there's something beautiful that occurs because of that, which is the clearer mind. Another example is that if you bring awareness into, what else? Into even your physical appearance. If you bring some awareness and attention to your physical appearance, most likely you'll begin to love yourself, take care of yourself, dress better, do your skincare routine, take care of your hair, and things like that. So again, the Midas touch, when you bring your full awareness and intention into something, it grows, it expands because of that energy exchange between your beautiful soul and it. And I also want to add something else. Let me just sit with it for a sec. Okay, well, I'm being called to talk about physical appearance now, so I guess I'll talk about that for a little bit. So physical appearance is something that is actually extremely important on this spiritual journey. It's not about being egoic, it's not about being pretentious, it's not about thinking that we're better than other people because of a certain way that we look. But I think it's important to understand that we were given our vessels on this earth to fulfill a certain purpose, and we must take care of our vessels in the best way that we can. So in my experience with my own life and also seeing the spiritual journeys of other people, there's often a time for those who are on the enlightenment path, there's often a time for those people where, just like kind of like what the Buddha went through, they don't want to take care of themselves because they feel it's egoic. They stop eating as much because they feel like they need to purge their bodies. They take care of their physical appearance less because they are in the process of understanding that material objects and appearance isn't everything. So there is that portion of time where there is the purge of materialistic things, of the ego, of unhealthy habits. And during that purge, oftentimes the spiritual seeker will look a little bit disheveled, like the classic hippie look, like disheveled hair, maybe a little bit dirty, a little bit unkept. And that's totally normal and part of the process. But afterwards, oftentimes, the spiritual seeker will understand that it's part of the game of life to take care of your physical vessel, because your physical vessel and how you dress, how you take care of it yourself, how you wash yourself, and how you smell is the first thing that people notice when they see you. So if you're interested in sending a signal to other people that you'd like to communicate, that you're open to socializing, that you have a message that deserves to be heard, it's really important to take care of your physical appearance. Because the point of our existence here, yours and mine, is to share what we know with the world. And so if we want to share what we know with the world, we have to make sure that our first impression is welcoming. So if we're looking disheveled, if we're looking unkept, if we're looking dirty, there's a lower chance that people will want to hear what we have to say. However, if we're looking well kept, if we are glowing from the inside out, and it's obvious that our inner work is being done and that we're doing that inner work and that it's coming out to the outside and we're taking care of ourselves, then people are more likely to be magnetized to us, to come to us, and to want to hear what we have to say. So it's very important to take care of our physical appearance as well. It's not egoic, it's not vain. It is part of the game. If you want to play the game of life, you have to get in it. And so physical appearance is a very important part of the game of life. Well, that went a little bit off track than what I was really thinking that this message was going to be. But yeah, just to summarize, I want you to know that the power of the Midas touch is accessible to everyone. It's accessible to you. And it's accessible to you once you have a clear mind, a mind clear enough to give attention to the world outside of you. And in order to have a clear mind, and in order to give attention to the things outside of you, in order to magnetize opportunities, you must first give attention to what's inside of you, what's in your mind, the thoughts that pop up during moments of silence. Get comfortable with what you're running from. What are you running from? Are you able to sit in silence? I know that even for me, I'm still developing my relationship with just sitting in pure silence. And it can be really hard for me because for a long time, I was running from anxious thoughts. I was running from depressive thoughts. I was running from the things popping up in my mindscape that simply wanted to be healed. And I'm sure that there are some things that still pop up in your mindscape that simply want to be seen and heard. They don't want to tear you down. They're not trying to make you unsafe. And the secret here is to know that you are always safe and that your thoughts and emotions, they can pop up and you can still be safe. You can purge out all the thoughts and be left with a clear mindscape. When you give attention to the things around you, that's when you become a magnet for the opportunities that were always meant for you. So I think that is the all for today's message. If you guys don't know, I do have a business where I provide massage therapy, Reiki services, and then also reflexology to clients at my studio here. It's right here beside me. I will link the website down below in the description box so that you can go check out what I offer. And I will also remind you to please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'm so proud of you for coming this far. Don't give up. I know things can be really challenging right now, but don't give up, okay? Don't give up. I'm here for you, okay? I'm sending so much love, and I will see you next time. Okay, this happens a lot, but oftentimes right when I finish the video, I realize, oh, I have something else to say. So I'm gonna add one more thing that's related to this, and it's that the more undistracted energy you give to something, the more you will get better at practicing the flow state. And the flow state is basically what being conscious and aware is, because the flow state is when you are fully immersed in the activity that you're doing and there are no excess thoughts and anxieties in your mind. And there's a lot of enlightened masters that talk about this, where the idea is that if it's time to sleep, you sleep. If it's time to write in your journal, you write in your journal. If it's time to be cooking and making a meal, you're cooking and making a meal. You're fully immersed in these activities, no matter what they are. So that's another very important part of the Midas touch, because the Midas touch, as I said, is when you're fully immersed in the activity, when you are fully accepting, receiving, and giving and receiving energy between yourself and what you're doing, and that's when magic can really happen. So again, I'm going to say it: when it's time to sleep, sleep. When it's time to cook, cook. When it's time to drink water, drink your water. Be fully immersed in the experience. I highly recommend trying to practice non-distraction. For myself, the way I do this is that, for example, when I go for a walk, I don't bring my headphones. So I don't listen to music, because oftentimes what I used to do was go for a walk, have my music in, and then constantly have that stimulus as I'm on the walk. But a simple practice that I found really helps me to de-stimulate myself, if that makes sense, and bring some more peace into my life, is to force myself to be not distracted. So when I'm on the walk, I'm on the walk. And again, like another example is when I'm cooking, I'm cooking. I turn off my phone. I try not to be on it. I'm still working on my relationship with being not distracted and being fully immersed in every activity. But I'm telling you, it really works. And eventually I know I'll be able to get to a point where I can just sit in silence and just be chill. Just chill, sitting in silence. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm not thinking about the past or the future. I'm just chilling. And you can definitely get there too. Again, practice not being distracted. Practice the art of peace and quiet. It really is a practice. It's not something that just springs out of nowhere for most people. It really is a practice. Peace is a practice. Joy is a practice. Quiet is a practice. Okay, so now I'm actually done, and I will see you next time. Bye.